Hi, welcome to another In Conversation with called Rekz. Um, just a bit of an update. We do need to get our drummer on so that people don't think she's a figment of our imagination.
We'll get her picking her best albums and drummers.
Yeah, it's just that we only really get one day a week with Alicia, and we need to spend that practicing for the upcoming tour. So we will try and get her down, and also hopefully we can persuade producer of our first album, Mr. Roberts, um, to um,
Give us his take on
give us
things.
his take on things, and we'll keep. If you've got any suggestions, please do shout. But this video episode, we're discussing, in David's case, his 5 favourite guitarists. Maybe because of the music they played, maybe they inspired him. My favourite 5 bassists, and again we're going to try and guess each other's. So, do you want to have a go at guessing mine? I mean,
yeah.
On the last episode, you absolutely nailed my favourite album.
No,
so.
yeah. Now, bassist, it's difficult for me. I got, because you've been playing bass fairly recently, so I never thought you as a bassist till, well, maybe a few years. So I'm thinking, what
you probably still don't know.
No, I do, of course I do. What bassist would you like? Now, I've gone for 3 definites and a possibility. First one, I think, is going to be Adam Clayton, simply because I think he's done music you love and really like, and you know his bass lines. I think you'd look to try and emulate. Am I right? Would Adam Clayton be one?
Well, we're going to find that out as we go through.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Another one.
Don't spoil it.
Another one I've got is Colin Moulding of XTC. Again, I picked that because I think he, as well as just being the bass player, he's also contributed a lot with lyrics into XTC. The other one I had was Gary Tibbs of Adam and the Ants. I think his bass lines, it's funny, the term drum and bass came in the 90s, but I think drum and bass was you could apply that to a lot of obviously it sounds,
I think it's always been drum and bass.
It sounds a bit obvious what I'm saying, but drum and bass became a genre of music, didn't it, in the 90s, something called drum and bass, but rock was all about drum and bass, as you just said, and I think some bands are more drum and bass than others, but I think Adam and the Ants, having 2 drummers and a distinctive bass player.
And you had one guitarist, really.
Yeah.
Adam Ant used to play a little bit of guitar, but then again he used to play bass as well on Don't Be Square Be There. He plays bass.
Yeah.
Their sound was amazing considering it was only Marco Pony playing the guitar.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're digressing, sorry.
Well, and there's one that's really out there. I don't know why this is thought. I don't think it's a band why I'm thinking this is the Chili Peppers bassist, Flea. I don't know if you know like their music much. I could just see you being influenced by them. This is maybe one to look at and listen to. They're a bit more funk, but I could see you, because you do a lot of different sounds on your bass rig.
I do, yes.
And I think he does a lot of different sounds on a bass rig. And that's the bass players I think, the core bass player, maybe not the Chili Peppers one, I think it's Flea. But those 3 I think would be your go-to bass players in your curve of learning, if you like. And I might be wrong. So they're my guesses at the moment.
Okay.
There's probably others that you listen to that I've totally missed.
I'm just trying to work out now my running order here.
Okay.
I'm not going to do a running order. I'm going to do like you did last time.
It's difficult, isn't
5,
it? Yeah.
So, right, guitarist, right. Well, I think Hendrix has got to be in there. I think anybody that plays guitar reveres him.
Yeah.
And I was reading about him the other day. He used pedals and that. He didn't really use pedals a lot of the time.
There wasn't a lot of pedal technology around then.
It was just amazing, wasn't it?
Your amp and your guitar.
The kind of guy that came out the womb holding a guitar, he must have done. He was just so brilliant.
Bizarrely, I was hopping channels last night, and there was a documentary about his death. That Ramesh Raghunathan was doing a documentary on him, and there was conspiracy theories he was murdered and stuff. But I think basically the outcome of it was he did just choke on his own vomit. But I think there was a lot of iffy circumstances about. I think that he was with a girl at the time, and she panicked and didn't know what to do. Didn't call the ambulance. But anyway, that's by the by. But yeah.
So
yeah.
Jimi Hendrix thinks in
Yeah.
there. Same argument that you had with Adam Clayton. You love you to Edge. I think he's a. I think he gets a bad rap sometimes because their music isn't very complex. But I think, I mean, you can count on the fingers of what I could only think one occasion where he played a bum note. He missed a note on A Day Without Me. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was the gig. Kind of, yeah.
And that's about the only time
I've
ever heard him play a bum note.
No.
And he is a wizard.
Yeah.
So I think you'd have him in there. And again, after that, I'm really struggling. I'm going to go with, and I keep forgetting his name. It'll come back to me in a moment.
Remember the band?
Yeah, The Who.
Oh, Pete Townsend.
Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
I like watching they did a live performance at the studio, I think it was, of Shea Baba. It's just, his knees must be fucked, excuse my French. He was bouncing about like, how did he play guitar and jump up and down?
Well, remember we did the old whirly windmill
just,
chord, he pioneered
again,
that.
I just think he was an amazing guitarist.
I read somewhere when
he wrote all the songs, did all the lyrics and everything. Roger Daltrey just sings, doesn't he? He doesn't do anything musically.
Again, funny enough, he was in that documentary last night on Hendrix. I didn't
realise.
Really
funny, he'd been so long in it, and yet he knows nothing. He was what?
Roger Daltrey was a big mate of Hendrix. They were big friends.
Was it?
Yeah. He wasn't with him when he was on tour in Germany when he died. Roger Daltrey with the Who, but yeah, he was on this documentary last night talking about him. He said Hendrix come over from America,
because he wasn't liked in America, was he?
No.
It's only when he came over here. I mean, he only became popular in America after he died.
Yeah, because he came over here and
was he living in England in the end?
Oh yeah. But he did this gig. He was picked up by Chaz Chandler. Was it Chaz Chandler? And he signed and got this band together, and they did this gig, and the word was going around he was good. And he said, Roger Daltrey saying, and all the bands at the time went to this gig in London somewhere, and he says, and they all watched this gig and they thought, shit.
I thought I could play.
It was one of them kind of moments where you looked at someone.
Did he do Isle of Wight? That was one of his favourite.
They all thought.
Is that why he set fire to his guitar?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but he said, Roger Daltrey says, we watched this and we thought, oh no, it's gone to another level. We've had it. Yeah. You know, and he thought, and everyone would think,
because
oh dear.
His songs weren't that good, were they?
It was just his playing. He said his playing was all, for the time.
Voodoo Child.
I mean, it's been emulated millions of times since, but
did he do the original Star Spangled Banner? I know he didn't write the song.
No, but his version, again, this is in the documentary, his version of that as a protest, and I forget, was it Woodstock he played it? The American government looked at that and thought, oh, he's a bit subversive. And that's where these conspiracy theories came from. That the CIA wanted him out of the way, which was probably
just because he's bad
pretty much rubbish, to be honest with you. I think like we were saying, but anyway, sorry, he was So guessing all the guitarists.
So Hendrix, Townsend, Edge, and I'm really struggling, unless you the guy out of Mannix, I forget his name.
James Bradfield.
Maybe him, but again, I'm struggling, to be honest.
Okay.
So, right, okay. So, you want to give us your first one then?
Well, you're bang on target, Anthony, with my top one. Bang on target. And before I go into the list, it's always the same. Like, ask me in a month's time, and there might be others in the list. But this was the list at the snapshot. Was Mr. Hendrix, left-handed like me?
Choice. Was he left-handed?
He's left-handed like me. And that's where
that's
where the commonality ends. But yeah, apparently he turned.
You were taller than him.
I was taller than him, yeah, and that was about it. And apparently he turned this. I think he turned the strings round. He just bought a writing guitar and turned the strings round. I mean, you can do it. I've tried it, but he was another level. But the thing about a great guitarist for me is it's not always whether you make music you like. It's about they take it somewhere new, do new technique. New sound. Yes, I do like Hendrix.
Nobody sounded like Hendrix.
No, nobody ever has since. And he's influenced so much, and you know,
I think he was a bit like another great underrated guitarist earlier, Chuck Berry.
yeah, yeah. Again,
He took
inspired.
things on.
It's how much he inspired people, and
Yeah.
you know, makes people want to pick up a guitar.
I mean, him and Little Richard. Little Richard more of his attitude and his playing his piano, but Chuck Berry's guitar playing is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Johnny Be Good, just an amazing song.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, those early guitarists. That's what inspired, you know, people like Hendrix to go on. And there's, you know, with guitarists, you could go on all night, but these are just, like I say, a snapshot I've picked. So Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower, one of my favourite songs. I think
Yeah.
arguably the best ever cover version, All Along the Watchtower. The Bob Dylan original's all right, but Hendrix took it to another level. That's my opinion. The other great, while we're on the subject of covers, the other best cover version I think is Soft Cell Tainted Love. I always think that again, it like made the song his own. And again, covers is another area. Perhaps we'll do a thing on covers.
He also did a Gene Pitney one, did something that's got a hold.
Yeah,
Oh.
Mark Holman.
I mean,
Mark Holman.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really.
But
I love Torch
yeah,
by Soft Cell,
But-
but
we digress.
Yeah.
We digress.
okay, so that's your
Guitarist?
first one.
Okay, do you want
Right.
to do one?
Right, I'll do one. Okay.
Okay. Bass players. I'm on with this.
Oh my God, one of my 5 is Flea.
What? You're joking?
Red Hot
Was
Chili
it Flea?
Peppers. There you go. Look, bottom there. Look.
I feel like you know when they do magic on TV, and you pick that card.
This light's very bright. I don't know whether
It
you
does
can
say
see, but
Flea. Take it from
there
me.
you go, Flea.
He's not
just about
calling you.
see
It does say Flea.
There you
I
go.
can't believe it because I never really
Yeah.
known you listening. Something went in my head about you'd like that bass player. His technique.
I love Flea because A is the most enthusiastic. Bass players have got this reputation for just being a bit like David Boyle from Soft Cell.
Yeah.
He's not. He's all over the place. He's a jack in the box. He's just so enthusiastic, and his bass playing is amazing. Again, he plays it like it's no effort. I think he gives them a dimension, and he does use a lot of pedals, a lot of guitar-specific pedals. Most pedals are. There's very few specialist bass pedals, but I just think he's an amazing bass player. I really do. That's a very good call from you.
I don't know why it just come into my head that did. I think
Again, he's underrated. You don't hear
years
people
ago.
talking
No,
about
no.
Flea as a bassist.
No,
He's an
no.
amazing bass player.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And yeah, love him. So that was my first one. So well
Right.
done there, son.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I
up
was
and
a
running
guess.
again.
Okay, my next one. You pretty guessed my guitarist quite well actually, but there's a couple that you probably won't get. I've actually got 6, but the next one, as you've just mentioned, is The Edge out of U2. Again, because obviously he makes music I love, but he took it onto something, he took it, sorry, in the past tense now, but he took it onto something new. Nobody sounded like that, used
No,
delay and
But
effects
yeah,
like
he's
he
a
did.
big delay man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Delay is always on
You know-
on my board. It's never off. And I was experimenting with delay last night actually. This guitarist had reviewed my pedal, and I thought, and I understand more now about what they do, and you can get some amazing sounds out of it.
But to me, the sign of a great guitarist is
And that's on
it's
the bass.
in guitar world. They say, oh, you've got a something sound. The something being the name of the guitar. It's like, oh, you got an Edge sound or a Hendrix sound.
Who's that comedian that also plays guitar?
Oh,
Is it
Bill Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really lays into the Edge, and I thought,
I don't-
listen,
I've
mate,
never heard- I don't know.
you're not fit to change the strings
No,
on
I've
his
never heard
guitar.
that, but-
You know what I mean?
But that's a sign of a great guitar. They've had a sound named after them, or an effect. Because you look on my
Did
effects
they?
board. Yeah, I've got the Edge sound. They call it. You know,
Yeah. Right. Well,
the
yeah.
Hendrix. Oh, that sounds Hendrixy. That sounds Edge. To me, if people say that about you, that's a sign of you've influenced guitar playing. You've influenced that world, if you like. There's another name that comes to mind actually. Having just said that isn't on my list, but I'll come to that later. So anyway, shall I guess one of your bassists? I think Oh, no, sorry, I've guessed yours. Haven't I?
Yeah,
It's your
well,
turn.
if you miss one off,
No,
go
no,
on.
no, no, no. Go on, no, go on. I'll let you. I'll let you go and name your next one.
Okay, my next one is Tina Weymouth
Oh,
from
Talking
Talking
Heads.
Heads.
Blimey, yes. Ah,
Everybody knows Psycho Killer. What a lot of people don't know is, and I had a debate with Mr. T last night, um, David Byrne didn't write Psycho Killer. Tina Weymouth did.
I never knew that her and the other member of the Talking Heads were a couple.
Yeah, the
actual
drummer.
couple. Yeah, I never knew that till
Yeah,
recently.
yeah,
I
they
didn't
did
know.
Tom
They're still
Tom Club,
married,
didn't
aren't
they?
they?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Oh, was that them?
They broke away and did Tom Tom Club. Yeah, she
Oh,
wrote
what's
an
his
awful lot of Talking Heads material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
know that.
but there's certain songs that are iconic for the bass hand. One Nation, Seven Nation Army,
Yeah, yeah.
Psycho Killer, and that bass guitar is just. And again, it's a very clean sound.
Yeah.
She didn't do an awful lot effects wise, as far as I can tell, but the bass lines in their songs. If you took the bass away from their songs, they would sound so
Yeah,
different. Which is the
yeah.
bass all over. A lot of the time, you don't hear it
Yeah.
until it's not
No.
there.
No.
But Psycho Killer, the bass line on that, for that alone, should get into top 5. But I mean, her bass lines on "And She Was" and "Once in a
Yeah,
Lifetime,"
yeah.
"Doo-doo-doo-doo,"
Yeah, yeah,
"doo-doo-doo-doo."
yeah.
Again, it's just so clean. Again, criminally underrated. Tina Weymouth, excellent bassist. So that's my second one.
Yeah, and
And,
on that, I read a thing about.
At least that one evaded you.
It's a yes, it did totally pass me by that one, but it's a shame, as I read recently, they don't. Tina Weymouth and her husband don't get on with David Byrne at all.
I don't think they ever did though. He's a bit of
Fell
a
out.
weird one though,
Yeah,
isn't he?
it's a
He
bit
always was a
weird.
bit
They fell out.
strange.
It's a great band, great band. But okay, my guitarist again. You've named him already. Is James Bradfield out of the Manics now.
Right. He's not particularly
but
known
I
for.
think I'll tell you why I rate James Bradfield is obviously because he makes music.
I love
live,
the
that's
guitar
a
on
bias.
you. What got me into more was "You Stole the Sun from My Heart."
But
the guitar on that is excellent.
In a lot of bands, very few bands are like the Manics. There are other bands.
I admire
obviously.
anybody
It's
that
his singing.
can play and sing at
Exactly,
the same time.
and that's what he does. He
'Cause
holds that band
it's
together.
Such a challenge.
And he plays. I saw him did last time I went to see him last October. He did "Sweet Child of Mine." The band did "Sweet
If you're a
Child
good
of Mine,"
guitarist or a good singer, then you can concentrate. But when you're like me, where you can't really sing, and you're learning the bass, it's a real challenge.
But he holds
so
it
I do
together.
admire people that
And
can do
like
it.
I say, that's what I love about the man. Is he sings and plays the guitar. I mean, the band is basically 3 of them, but live they have one, sometimes 2 other guitarists to booth the sound as you go into. But that's why I like James Bradfield, because he's like you say, he sings the song and plays the guitar, often the lead guitar as well. He's very hard working, playing, but not the best guitar player who's ever lived or is alive. I'll admit that, but he plays the song and he plays it excitingly. And like I say, when he did "Sweet Child of Mine," they did it note perfect. Guns N' Roses, they do covers now and again, and that was brilliant. But so that's mine. So you got another bassist in the hat then.
I have, yeah.
Sadly, none
You
of them
haven't
could appear
mentioned him, and
tonight.
I was surprised you haven't mentioned him, to be honest with you. Jean-Jacques Brunel.
Oh, what? Why did I not think of him? We only saw him a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, and,
Why did I
and
not
I'm really
think of
gutted
him?
because they
Why
finished
did
their
I
tour
not
now. They
think
did
of him?
Rock City, but they were sold out.
Yeah, I looked into that. Yeah, it was sold out, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm just glad we got to see him. We bought those tickets 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And
Yeah.
bless him, Dave Greenfield didn't make it. Sadly,
No.
it was a great gig, and I like the lead singer there now. I got a lot of respect for
they're
him
good.
now.
They're good. It's a good band.
And there's a YouTube video where they play live in the studio somewhere.
Mhm.
They don't do many of their
No.
really standout tracks.
No. But
I find it. You should listen to it, David. It's excellent. But Jean-Jacques Brunel. I mean,
can't
again,
believe I
his
didn't
bass
think of
work
it.
on that.
Sorry,
especially-
mate. I just
Especially on
he's a
I'm
bass
glad
player.
you didn't, because Peaches is like do do do.
No,
Again, it's
again.
another. Again. I've read a few articles about best bass lines of all time, and that nearly always gets in there.
yeah.
Um,
Peaches.
but
I'll
it's-
teach
but
you
the
that.
bass work on No More Heroes is
Yeah.
excellent, and Something Better Change,
This is
and
another
Hanging
song.
Around, and even the bass on Golden Brown. Again, so everyone bangs on about the organ, which is great, but again, he's been doing it a long time. But again, he plays the bass like, and I admire him as well because he's also a very accomplished martial artist.
Yeah, clever guy.
And at one point, he was training in Japan because they rated him that well.
Yeah. Good. But another sign is a trivial fact. A sign of a great guitar player or bassist is that they have their own signature model, and there is a Jean-Jacques Bonnel signature guitar, bass guitar. I don't know who makes it.
Really?
Yeah, there is a Jean-Jacques Bonnel signature model. I can't
Well, I'm
remember.
hoping one
I'm
day
up for it.
there'll be a
Go and get it.
bass
Get one.
Walton.
Get one. There will be an
Or a
anti-Walton
Walton
bass.
bass.
Yeah. They'll have 8 strings.
Yeah, we'll have to think of a proper name for it. But yeah, no, again, no effects.
No.
I mean, okay,
No.
it might have
Or
those
is it
effects
distort-
controlled by
maybe
an
like
engineer
distortion.
back at the stage, but I saw no. I mean, obviously,
No.
when we saw them live, the first thing you do is start looking at their gear because we're doing the same, and like, I can't see any pedals. The other guy did. What's his name?
I can't remember singing guitarist's name.
He had some pedals, but
he probably did, but maybe under you can't.
yeah,
Because we were
no,
too.
Jean-Jacques Brunel, love him, love his bass
I
playing.
can't believe I missed that. Sorry, I just cannot believe I didn't think. Why didn't I think of that?
Hey, listen,
Rain
you can't
freeze.
complain at your success tonight, can you?
Well,
I mean, Flea was inspired.
I
Wasn't
wasn't. I don't know why it just hit me. I thought. I don't know what
I think it's one of the best bassists ever.
Oh yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
You know. So, but anyway, your third is it? Or fourth?
My
Was it
next one.
third?
Now, this might surprise you a bit.
This is your fourth,
'Cause
isn't it?
they're
'Cause
not. I wouldn't put them in my favourite bands. Really, I like them.
Yeah, this will be your fourth. Yeah.
The world loves this band he was in. The world loves this band he was in. You know, and
Oh, hang on. Before you say anything, I forgot one. Slash.
no, it's not Slash.
Ooh,
Great as he
Crash
is.
and Burn.
Great as he is, Slash. This thing with guitarists, you can go on all night, like albums really, but this one, this guy, I used to like them when I was a kid. This band, they were big then. They're not around. Well, they are sort of around, but not. But again, the reason I'm picking him is because again, he created his own sound. They call it the da-da sound, and you can get the da-da guitar, the signature model guitar. So, and it's a very unique. I'll give you a clue. The guitar he plays, him and his dad made it when he was about 14, and he still plays the same guitar now. You not got an idea. He doesn't play a Fender Strat. Well, he plays. It's a unique guitar. Like I say, he made it. I don't know, as a kit from a kit, whatever. When he was 14, and he still plays it all the time. Brian May.
Oh, yeah.
Queen.
They're one of them, aren't they? He's a good guitarist.
I'll
I
tell
can't
you
deny
what,
it.
mate, he is in the top, you know. But I wouldn't say I love him
I
as a
saw
band.
his rig. He had about 8.
He plays AC30s,
Amps.
Vox AC30s, I think.
And they've been converted.
Oh yeah.
And they're all held together with tape. He says we've got. It goes on tour with 12, and they're always breaking down.
Yeah.
And one of the roadies
I think
has to fix them all
I think
the time.
I read somewhere. Not all of them are even like live. They're there for look.
Yeah, yeah.
I think some of them don't even work. Or
No,
something.
they've
I might
stopped
be wrong on
working.
that. Yeah. But it's all his guitars.
Are they Vox? Are they?
Vox AC30s, which are good amps.
Yeah, yeah. Was that an AC30 we were practicing on?
That one down the studio.
Yeah.
I think
That was
it
amazing,
was.
man.
Oh,
Those amps were amazing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
That Ashdown bass amp power.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know that? You didn't comment when I told you I found it.
Well, I saw you
second-hand.
said 600.
And that's just for the cab.
Yeah.
The amp's about the same on top, but do you know with that bass of mine?
It is all about
650 watts. God, you turn it down slightly and it's off, and then the first notch on, it's like.
I remember years ago.
I think there was a lot more controls on that amp than I did.
Years ago,
on the head.
Nick had a Marshall.
Oh, you
amp.
could play Wembley with
I
that.
plugged into a Marshall amp and I sounded totally different.
What do you think's the best amps going? Marshalls. I'm
not a connoisseur of amps because I've only had.
Peavey are a big name as well, aren't they? Yeah.
I think Marshall are really good, but I've seen Fender amps. Paul had Fender.
I like.
There's a lot of good amps out there. Sadly, I don't own any.
You think Vox?
Yeah. It's a cliche, but the
we'll have
amp
another
is a
quick
big
question
thing.
each at the end.
Okay.
But so that was your foot. So
another bassist then.
another bassist, right? This is my number 4, and another one you guessed. Colin Moulding.
Yes, of course.
Um, um, the way XTC wrote songs, they always say, well, the drums have to come first. We don't. We didn't have a drummer for a start,
No.
so
That
but-
would make it difficult.
but but they say, well, you can't do anything till you get the drums done. That's what I've had Dave Gregory saying that. I thought, well, is that strictly speaking? Is that how everybody does it? But Colin, the last thing on an XTC album was the bass. But I mean, you see, with my songwriting, which is quite rare, I write songs on the bass. I don't play a guitar well enough or a piano well enough to be able to do that.
No.
So, and I think it's quite rare to write songs on the bass. But he puts that on last. But I like his ability, because like when you've written a song, I can't. Most time I sort of add bass to it. You have to do the bass. That's something hopefully I'll develop. But I mean, I just think he's very creative. A lot of his bass lines are very simple. I mean, on Love at First Sight is very simple.
Yeah.
But I just love that do 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 do.
Bass lines don't have to be complex to be
Excellent.
effective. It's
And he's hammering it. What's it called? Hammering.
Yeah, hammer on. Yeah.
But I just think it's so melodic, and him and Andy Partridge don't talk now, which is a shame after they've been together for so long. But Andy Partridge said he's so good at melody, which was a strength. And yeah, and even songs like Generals and Majors and Respectable Street, and some of the bass work on Skylarking, just and the bass on Oranges and Lemons is, there's a lot of tracks I don't like on Oranges and Lemons. It was the album after Skylarking, and they got given a good advance by the record company, because they said Skylarking needed to make X number of sales, and they blew it out of the water, and it broke them in America, because they went to Los Angeles to record the album, and there's not too many on there that
I think
Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead. But you've mentioned this track tonight, King for a Day,
That's great. I love that.
and that
track.
demo
It's probably
that we
my
heard
favourite track.
but the bass on it's just amazing.
I think if that band had not had a
Amazing.
problem with touring and toured in the
But they
conventional
got
way,
annoyed
they'd have
because
been massive.
they were fine at the start, but they'd clearly gotten over it,
Yeah.
and he still wouldn't tour.
No.
And they were
It's a
saying,
shame.
I mean, I can't conceive of recording an album, never playing the songs again.
No, it's strange.
What?
Yeah,
Having a laugh.
Yeah, I know. But it's a shame for that band, because they should have been huge. Again, well, they are well known, but they should have been massive. And had they toured,
Mr.
like I say,
T,
like
you
other
promised
bands.
me that T-shirt. I gave you. What did I give you? I gave you something, a jacket or something, and you said you were going to give me that T-shirt. Give me that T-shirt.
Anyway, so I name another guitarist.
So you're fifth guitarist then?
Right, my fifth guitarist. Now this will be a bit out there, and he only became this choice when I saw him live a few years ago at the O2, the little O2 University in Leicester, about 5 years ago, something like that, 4 years ago, and I was gobsmacked. I'd always loved this band that he was in and out of. I'd always loved them, since I was a kid. Great band, but it wasn't until I saw him live that I thought, bloody hell, this guy is great, fantastic, and he's very. When I've seen interviews, he's a great bloke. He's very self-effacing. Doesn't take music seriously. He's not up his arse. He's a really nice guy, and you might find this bizarre, but when I saw him play, I thought, this guy is a musician. Captain Sensible out the Damned. I saw him play.
Wow, because was he originally the?
He was. He
Keyboard
changed. No,
player?
he went from. I think he
Or
was
a drummer?
the bassist originally, then he switched to the sixth string. And Jesus Christ, he can play. He's fucking amazing. Excuse my language, amazing. I was like watching.
I love
didn't
Snakes
know-
and Ladders.
I never
I love that song.
Yeah, I mean, I never associated the Damned with virtuoso guitar playing. It's not virtuoso as in 1,000 notes a second, everything melodically perfect. It's just great, good time playing, punk playing, but it's a bit.
A lot of it's about timing.
Timing, yeah, and he could play, and I was amazed. I thought, geez, this guy's.
I'd like to see.
Great band, the Damned.
They were an honourable mention, which I didn't mention on the last video, but their album Phantasmagoria
Yes,
was
yeah,
an amazing
yeah,
album,
yeah. He wasn't in them at the time.
wasn't it?
No, he wasn't. No, in the 80s he left. He had his solo career with Happy Talk and all that. He went a bit sort of out
But I'd
there.
like to see the Damned.
They are a great band. I've seen them
They
twice.
toured recently, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't they release an album recently?
I'm not sure on that, but I've only seen them twice. A lot, about 20 odd years apart, more than that. Yeah, about 30 years apart. Well, but the last time I saw them was about, say, 5 or 6 years ago, um, and there were Captain Sensible in it, Dave Vanian, and they were really, amazed me. That was yeah. Yeah, he's not known in the world as a legendary guitar player, but for entertainment.
Well, again, like some of these bassists, they don't get a mention.
Yeah,
no, that's a good call, mate. Well, my last one, I'm surprised you didn't mention him, actually. I really am.
Okay.
I'll give you his first name.
Okay.
John.
Entwistle.
Correct.
And who was he with?
I think he's possibly the greatest bassist of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
He was your typical bassist. He'd just stand there at the back.
Bill Wyman-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bill, yeah.
Not in the same league, in my opinion.
No.
Pete Townsend said, I used to follow him. He's
Yeah.
that good. But he'd just stand there, he'd just be going.
Yeah.
And they reckon that he's a popular choice for the greatest bass line of all time in my
Which
generation.
is, yeah, yeah.
Do
you remember I tried to emulate
He
it?
did pretty well. He did pretty well. Paul Roberts said,
50% of it.
I'm loving the bass licks on that. And I went, yeah, it is good, isn't it? And I think he thought I'd done it. And I thought, I'm going to let him think I did it. I'm not going to say I did it, but I'm going to let him think I did it.
It was the
Now he's
interpretation
gonna know.
of it. You know?
But no,
I won't try and do it note for note.
it's just amazing.
What was interesting, I read
And it was just like this,
I read an interview
up and down this, and it was like, he wasn't even looking, it was just like,
Oh, he was.
he's the bee's knees.
Pete, what you said about Pete Townsend, who was following the bass. I read in my guitar book. I read about an article on Pete Townsend. He says, "I'm happiest when I'm the like not the main thing." He was never a great soloist.
Well, then why did he bounce about
Well,
all
I think
the
it was
time?
just to get the audience, but no, musically, I mean, he wasn't really a
The Who were an
wild
amazing band
solo.
because
He
you
was a
probably had the
he was a rhythm
greatest bass player
guitarist.
of all time,
Yeah,
John Entwistle, and the popular opinion is the greatest drummer of all time is
Yeah.
between John Bonham of Led Zeppelin or Keith Moon
yeah.
of the Who. And to
Yeah.
have two in one band, and,
Yeah,
and I
know,
think
yeah.
Pete Townsend's guitar, one of the best guitarists.
He's very
up
much
there.
a rhythm guitarist, Pete Townsend. He does solo work, obviously, but he was never the soloist,
You know,
really. Because, like you say, you've got a great bass player. If you've got a great bass player who's adding lots of songs anyway, you can undermine that. And Pete Townsend, he's happiest when he's driving people to do all the. He's
do
he's
they
not
have
the main attraction.
On tour, they have other guitarists.
I don't know back in the day. When I saw them about.
Because you can't just have a rhythm guitar.
No, they did. No, they did. When I saw them about 8 years ago, 7 years ago, they had. There was obviously.
Where's it? Wembley.
No, at Hyde Park. There was obviously Roger Daltrey and Townsend, and then obviously Sandy with 2 members and all. They had another. They had Pete Townsend's brother playing a 6-string. Obviously, they had Paulo Palladino was a bassist. He's well known. Obviously, a drummer. I think there was a keyboard player. So yeah, they widened it out as bands do. So yeah, you had a second guitarist, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, when they started, it would have just been the 4 of them, and probably a lot of their early up till I don't know when they probably expanded it out in the 80s. But yeah, it's all that's the problem when with solo. Why a lot of bands have 2 guitarists, so one can go off and do.
Well, I mean, our
solos.
songs would sound better if we had all your guitar bits in.
You can't. It's very hard to do though.
Yeah, of
There's
course
very few
it is,
bands do it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of bands
I
now.
mean, a lot
have more than
of
one
your
guitar player.
solos on the instrument section, we're not going to be able to do them.
No.
You know.
Plus, doing solos needs a lot of talent. So that's one thing we're working.
So have you got
on.
any honourable mentions then?
For me, guitar players, yes. Well, probably one more. One more, yeah. One more. Well, yeah. This one is Mick Ronson, Bowie's guitarist in the
Yeah,
Spiders,
yeah,
and I think he was, you know, he was a lot. What I've seen, obviously, it was a bit before. It was I was only a little kid when he was in his prime with Bowie, but from what I account, all accounts, he was not just a guitar. He was like an orchestrator, producer, arranger.
yeah.
He got that sound, the Ziggy era sound, and made. I think he made Bowie.
Did he work Bowie all the way through to the end?
Did he not? No, he was with Bowie from about seven. I might be wrong on his exact dates. About 70 to 74. They did that famous thing where they played the Hammersmith Odeon, the end of the Ziggy tour, and Bowie split the band up on stage. And he said he didn't tell. Well, apparently Mick Ronson knew, but
That's a bit wankish, really.
Mick Ronson knew, but the bassist
I mean,
Trevor
Lord
Boulder
Bowie,
and
but that's a
Woody
knobby
Woodmanson
thing to
didn't
do.
know.
No,
They didn't know. No,
well, I'd have gone
after-
stage and lamped him one.
bit like Will Smith did last night. But
No, but I mean that's just disrespectful.
well, yeah. Apparently, the legend is that Woody Woodmansey
I hope he regretted.
and no, Trevor Boulder didn't know, and he just went up and said, "This is the last gig of the tour, but the last gig we'll ever do." And they didn't know, but Mick Ronson, I think did know. I think this is what legend. I mean, I don't know. It's what people say, but
That's just
it
an
was
arsehole
It was a
thing
crap
to
thing
do.
to do. Yeah. And
I
they
hope he
weren't around.
regretted that.
Oh, I think he did. But Mick Ronson and Bowie.
I mean, just
Fell
get a
out.
cheap kick from the crowd.
I
I mean,
think-
the crowd wouldn't have liked it either,
I think
would they?
no,
If they really
no. I
liked
think
it,
Mick
yeah.
Ronson and Bowie didn't get on after that.
Bit
But,
up his arse.
but he was a great guitar. The sad thing with Mick Ronson is as well, he never really had a high flying, world famous. He did work after that, but he never did. I can't believe he never really became massive after Bowie. I would have thought he would have done, but he did an album, didn't he? But it was well received. But I think he just did a lot of production for people.
Any other?
I'll try and I'm trying to think if there's.
Well, let me.
anybody-
I've got two honourable mentions.
Go on,
The first person, I don't know her name. She's only a session guitarist. She was with Bala.
I think-
Certainly the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah. I think I know.
Black woman.
Yeah,
I don't know her name.
Yeah,
but
I've
again,
seen her. Very good.
very, very, very good.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few of his. I love. He did a version of Heroes live. He talks for about 5 minutes before. I don't know whether they're on the album. I think it was on the tour. He did 2 albums. He'd do 1 album, then they go and take a break, and they come back and do the second.
Yeah.
And that version is excellent, and the bass is just amazing. And the other bassist, who again I think people forget he was a bassist, I think his bass made the sound of this band. Let's see if you can guess who it is. They fused rock with a reggae influence.
Oh, please.
Correct.
Stick. Yeah.
Stick.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
a good bassist,
Yeah,
a bloody good
yeah,
bassist.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Some of their bass work, people think of Every Breath You Take, but I mean, Don't Stand So Close to Me, Message in a Bottle,
Yeah.
Synchronista, Message in a Bottle, Every Little Thing Does His Magic. The bass work on it is brilliant.
I think on bass,
Again, very clean bass.
Technically on the best
Very
bass players
clean
you can
bass.
use. Yeah, you don't always need that. Yeah, it's what you're playing. But I was never a big fan of this band, and you probably weren't. The 80s, they're very associated with the 80s. Technically, though, great bass player was Mark King, level 42.
Yeah.
But
When I was talking to our friend Miss T last night, he said, "Have you got Mark King?" And I went,
Yeah.
"No."
no. But I think
He's
technically-
well known for being, but he was a bit of a slapper as well, wasn't he?
slap bass.
And
yeah.
I mean, I
It was his
want to
thing.
learn slap bass, but I mean, it's not my thing. I don't particularly like it.
No.
You do get a unique sound out of it. But I mean, like Paul was quite often saying to me, "Well, listen, man, just go a bit cleaner sometimes." I tend to go clean on when we do cover versions.
Yeah.
but no, I mean, it's just
But it's
the way
about
I am.
variety, isn't it? I think that's the
But
only thing about
They're
it.
my 2 honourable mentions. The
Yeah.
last question I want to ask each other before we wrap this up, if it's a nice, is I don't know whether you're in the market for another guitar, but let's just assume you were. Let's be realistic, because a minute, you know, you're not gonna buy a Stratocaster, right? A
No,
Fender,
no, no,
and I'm not gonna buy a Fender American
Yeah.
Legend.
no.
I'm just not gonna do it. You know, I ain't got that kind of money. So, what would you like to buy realistically if you were going to buy another guitar now? Is the one you want to buy?
Well, the one I'll tell you. Let me go through just quickly. The three guitars I've always liked in my life was one I've got. Well, not the actual one, but the red
red
Epiphone.
ones,
The red
blue
Epiphone, my blue
ones,
ones, my
the
green
green
ones, the purple ones.
Yeah.
But the Chuck Berry style, I call it, Epiphone red, and I did buy it. I bought that.
Is that
was
semi-acoustic?
semi-acoustic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I bought one eventually. I remember seeing one years ago as a kid, and I thought I wanted it. I got that.
I love my semi, but
Lovely guitar.
it needs
Set up, doesn't
it needs setting up
Yeah.
badly. We need to get your friend on there because
Mm.
the pickups vibrate,
Yeah. He'd thought that out, but
and hopefully he can sort that out. So can we get that arranged? Get his
Yeah.
details. Ring. Does he do basses?
well,
How
yeah,
much?
I'll
Is
get
he
him.
around Victoria Park East West?
Around
or-
that way? Yeah, it was.
I'll take it to him at the weekend, and he can have it for a week, and they get it the next day.
Anyway,
Because I love that gig.
the
Yeah,
guitars. I always wanted a red SG. I used to like the red Gibson SG that
Yeah.
slayed out.
Well, I mean, Gibson's a solid
New
guitar.
Model Army used to play,
Solid guitar.
but I don't like that now. Now the one I really want, and you can't get it
Tell
in
you what, I
left-handed.
want.
What I really want is a white Les Paul, but you can't get them left-handed. James
Really?
Bradfield plays it, and you know he used to play it. Steve Cook out the Pistols.
James Bedfield,
He plays the
no, he's not left-handed,
Manics.
is he?
No,
No.
but the-
Could you not turn it upside down?
No.
I know it
Don't-
doesn't.
just don't go there. You don't. You
Hendrix
can't
did
turn
it.
strings down. It's horrible.
You said Hendrix
He
did it.
did, but it's horrible. It's you can't. You buy a guitar's got to be properly made.
Well, no, and
left-handed.
also the curved bit at the top, that's going to be upside down.
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
all
look
wrong. It's all wrong.
stupid
It's
as well,
horrible.
isn't it? Yeah.
But the guitar I want is what James Bradfield plays.
Unless
and
it's like
Steve
mine,
Cook
where
played,
it's pretty much the same.
is
but-
the white left-handed Les Paul. But I did see one for about £2,000, and I thought maybe slightly.
second hand.
I think it. I'm not sure, but I thought might be slightly out of my range. But you just don't get it left-handed. There's not even a cheaper version of it left-handed.
These
There's
guitars are iconic, and you can think so and so played that, and so and so played that.
Oh,
But really, is it £2,000 against 400 quid? Is it 1,600
no, it's
quid
not,
better?
No.
Is it going to make you £1,600 better?
No.
If you know what I mean.
No. It's about practicing and practicing.
I
and
mean,
learning and-
there are
yeah.
levels. I mean,
Yeah.
my first bass was an Amazon £70 jobber, like a brick. It sounded all right.
Yeah.
When I flogged it, the person that bought it liked it. But then I moved to a Fender Squire, and that just sounded so much better. But again, that's really heavy. I mean, I can't ever see anything replacing Julian, as I call it, my Ibanez SR 300E.
Yeah.
And I saw a YouTube video the other day, top 5 basses that you should buy fairly well priced. One of these shops that do a lot of videos, and he had my SR 300E. This was in a cobalt blue, which looked beautiful. Mine's jet black. But he mentioned a couple of people that actually use it, and I can't remember the people he mentioned now. Slipknot, the guy from Slipknot.
Oh, right.
I mean, there.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So I mean, and that was about £300 guitar. But,
So, what would your fancy one? To
well,
buy
do you
then?
know, guess?
The mate.
It's very, very. It's old. It's
Oh, it's
famous.
not Hofner.
Correct. See,
Is
you're
it the-
there again. There's
Is it not-
anything
is it
you're
the
not going to
Hofner-
guess.
Hofner violin type, Paul
Yes.
McCartney style.
Yes. He made it famous.
Yeah.
Well, the entry level one is called the Ignition, and that's about 280 quid.
Yeah, well,
And it's a rosewood, typical brown white, so it looks like a violin. And I just want to try it.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Paul McCartney's a good bassist. There's no two ways about it. But I wouldn't call him exceptional.
Left-handed.
Yeah, and he never wrote any songs on the bass apart
No,
from, I
it
don't know the
was a
name of the
six-string
song.
player,
Was
wasn't
it "Come Together"? What's that one at the beginning where it goes dun 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 dun
Yeah, it's
dun
Come
dun
Together,
dun
yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun.
Did he
I
write
think
that?
he
No.
said that's. I think it was that one where he said that he built the song around that. I could be getting it mixed up with another one, but I mean he wrote all these. Even though he's a bassist, He wrote most of his songs on piano. He wrote some on guitar, but he always said he wasn't a brilliant guitarist.
No.
He wrote most of his songs on the piano.
Do you know the weird story about him?
I couldn't conceive of writing a song on the piano.
No,
We have keyboards.
But the weird story they always say about him is he can't read music, and I just find that really bizarre. I still don't believe that. I think that's a popular myth. He must be able to read music to be at his level.
But
It's
there's
like saying
reading and then there's
Shakespeare couldn't
reading,
read or
isn't there?
write.
There's reading and there's reading, isn't there?
Yeah. But
I mean, can you read music?
Not manuscript. No, I can read
No.
tab,
Well, most people can't.
guitar tab, and chord charts, but not
Who were they talking to?
not manuscript.
I think they were talking to Liam Gallagher, and he said he can't read manuscript. He knows
Liam
a
Gallagher,
few of them,
No.
but he said, Noel
Sorry,
Gallagher. But he said when they're publishing their guitar lines, he has to pay a transcriber.
Yeah.
And the he says, and he can't tell the transcriber has to listen to it and work it out himself. He says, I can't tell him. And the Bee Gees can't read music. Elton John can't read music. And he's classically trained. I'm pretty sure Elton John. My daughter's a huge Elton John fan. If she sees this video, she'll probably tell me wrong. She asked me the other day, how do you write? She said, how do you write songs very quickly? She said, do you do the lyrics first and the music? I said, no. I said, it's the music first for me. I said, I've got a book full of lyrics. I might happen across one that fits. I said, but no, it's always the music first. And then quite often I'll just play the chorus and just think of a phrase that fits with it. And that's how I start with it. She goes, oh, well, she's on first name terms. She goes, oh, well, Bernie sends in the lyrics and then he writes the music. I went, well, I said, it probably doesn't always happen like that.
No.
I said, you know, I'm sure he'll probably say, look, I've got these lyrics,
the thing with
write some music
like,
for
it. The thing with bands, particularly bands, is they'll write song A, drums first, then have a guitar.
But it's a lot easier
Song
to
B
wrap
will be
lyrics around a
first,
song because you can
there's
change lyrics. You can't
everyone's
really
different way of
change
doing
music once you've done it too.
No.
So, but I'd be very surprised if the way they always do it is he gets the music and then just.
No.
I mean, he might do now because he's an
Probably,
accomplished lyricist. He can make up. But she said that he sends the lyrics and then Elton John does music afterwards. I'd be very surprised if they did it that way all the time.
No.
But who knows? But so yeah, that's what I want. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm still not going to tell you what it is. There's a gadget which I am planning on buying to use on the bass, which you might have heard of it. You probably have, but I'm not going to say what it is until I've got it.
Okay.
But because apparently it's really difficult to get. It's one of these. It's really difficult to get used to. But once you get used to it, it's about touch and feel.
It's like an effect, you mean?
It's something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's an accessory.
Right. Okay.
So I am going to get that. It's a toss up to if I get that or whether I get the Hofner first.
Okay.
But I want to utilise the fretless I've got a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I love that as well. But yeah, I think we should wrap it up there.
Yeah.
I think it's been a good video.
Thanks for listening. Keep listening.
I mentioned this in the last video. This EP will be available on our tour.
Yeah.
It's 3 tracks that are on the album, but they're all different takes. Girls, one of our singles, that's just like a mashup. CFS is the original version because sentimental reasons really, because we just thought it was one of the first songs that we wrote that really flowed. It's a different version on the album produced by Paul Roberts, an excellent version. We kind of thought we wished there were 2 different songs really. And then The World's Gone Mad Again, that's another mashup, which I think is probably one of my finest moments as a mixer, come producer, come arranger, whatever you want to call it. But that is available only on tour. So that's another incentive to come and see us play. But please share this video if you can. We really do need some subscribers. It'd be good if we get a little bit of revenue from this because we spent so much money.
Have a listen. Have a listen to our music.
Have a listen to our album, The World's Gone Mad. It's available on all streaming platforms. We're on all the major social networking platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do have a website. There's nothing on it. We do need to get that going. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in again soon.
We'll have more.
We'll have more content.
Maybe we'll get Alicia the drummer involved as well.
Yeah.
Get her on film.
Thanks a
Talking
lot,
about music.
and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Take care, guys.